To be a speaker, it's not a popularity contest. You don't need to be an influencer. You don't need to be viral. You need to be of value. You need to be of service. You need to be you need to be sharing your ideas and not gatekeeping. When somebody asks you a question or sends you a DM, give them an answer. It's not just about pitching. Give them an answer, help them out. Comment heartfully on other people's posts. Encourage them. That's when people start noticing you. Nobody wants to get someone. This is the biggest fear, because I host my own events as well. My biggest fear is to bring a speaker on stage who, no matter how amazing they are, and then by the end, they're going to sell like crazy.
This is Let's Make Waves podcast. I'm your host, Rana Sabra, and I believe that we're all here to make waves. I created this podcast to help you build your brand by sharing with you tools, resources, and strategies to gain professional authority for better business opportunities. If you want to get unstuck, you've come to the right place. Let's get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Let's Make Waves podcast with me, Rana Sabra. And this week's episode is about public speaking. Public speaking creates a common form of anxiety, and it kind of ranges between feeling a little bit nervous to extreme fear and panic. But there are key elements that can make a speech or the speaker interesting, captivating, and powerful. My guest this week is Dr. Rana Sabra, a global business strategist and marketing advisor, who happens to be a 4-time TEDx speaker and Forbes Women speaker. Rana's speaking engagement blends between academic insights with real-world strategies, offering audiences actionable tactics for navigating today's complex business landscape. With a legacy rooted in resilience from her grandfather's farming days to becoming the first in her family to earn a doctorate internationally, Rana's passion lies in helping others move the needle in their lives and is a dedicated advocate for small women-owned businesses. Rana has empowered 2,000 clients and students worldwide by providing tailored marketing solutions in 15 plus countries, driving growth for businesses and multinational brands. I sat with Rana to pick her brain about public speaking, what factors makes a good speaker, what are the tried and tested tactics that can make any presentation captivating to its audience, what can we do today to position ourselves as public speakers with intention. Here is my conversation with Dr. Rana Sabra. Rana, thank you so much for joining me today. I've been looking forward to our talk, of course, not just because of you as my guest, but because I personally have so many questions to ask you. So it's also for personal gain. I have to admit it upfront. But you're a person who has spoken on so many stages and so many types and sizes of stages. So you've been a speaker as a professor in the university. That's a stage. Mm-hmm. You've spoken with, on in meetings and conferences and within panels, within industry events. And you've also been standing on big stages 3 times, TEDx speaker and also Forbes speaker. So from all of the experience that you've done in public speaking, can we say that it is a skill, or do people need to have the personality for it? You need to be, of a certain type of person.
So first of all, thank you so much, Rana, for having me. I'm really excited for this conversation because you're somebody I really, really admire your brains at so many levels, but specifically when it comes to marketing, I love the conversations that we have. I feel like you challenge me a lot. And I just did my 4th TEDx, actually.
Oh my God, here's an update. Hey, 4th TEDx.
So now it's the top 1% globally of TEDx speakers. When it comes to speaking, regardless of where you are speaking, it's a combination of 2 things. It's never the personality. It's always the skill and the passion. So if you have the passion for what you're talking about, you will overcome your shyness.
Oh, that's big.
So
And
I'll
that's
give you an example.
uncommon. You're telling us something very uncommon.
So the first time, so I was a university instructor at a very young age. I started teaching the undergraduate students marketing at the international university. But at that time, I got hired as a consultant um, for for a big project, helping and supporting underprivileged and underserved women in rural areas. And a lot of those women didn't speak English. A lot of them didn't even finish high school. And all what I had to do was to teach those women how to promote and how to market their homemade products, jam, I don't know, like the different stuff that olive oil, soap, and stuff. And remember, those women didn't have like a high, like college education. So
Yeah.
they don't know what's marketing. And I teach marketing in English. And I was so scared. And I went there with my PowerPoints and everything. And then I got there and we were literally sitting at somebody's balcony. So there was no place for the PowerPoint. And the supervisor who was helping those women manage all of their products and so on, he came to me and he was like, some of those women will not be able to read what you have on the PowerPoint. So, and that was the beginning when I realized, because I have so much passion for marketing.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I have the passion for helping women. When those two combined, I figured out a way to deliver the message. So when I went back to college, to the university, I switched the way I was teaching in the classrooms. It's not that I ditched the curriculum, it's just that I approached the curriculum in a different way. So now every time I'm on a stage, I'm in a classroom, I'm in a mastermind, all what I'm thinking about is how passionate I am about the topic I'm talking about. And at the same time, how passionate I am about the transformation for those people. So it's no longer about me and my PowerPoint and how good I am and am I talking fast? Do I have filler words? How's my body language? Because once you get out of that and come into the zone of I'm here to serve and I'm focusing on something outside of me and something that I have the knowledge and the confidence, that's it. We're good.
I love that. I love that, Rana. And what you're saying, which is, by the way, extremely uncommon, because I mean, you and I both know there are a lot of people out there who are experts in helping others to, in terms of public speaking, and not the first thing they talk about is the aesthetic or landing the speaking gig from a sales perspective, or things like that, versus what you're explaining right here. And I love the perspective that you're saying, because you are putting the burden of making this speaker is the speech that you're doing, or the presentation that doing, on not on yourself as whether you're good or not as a person, but whether you are passionate about the purpose and how much do you really understand your audience. You've kind of shifted that angle of thinking.
Yeah.
And it's very important. I would love to elaborate, if you can elaborate on why is understanding the audience so important in making you a good speaker, or in making the topic that you're going to talk about a good topic towards to have.
So I'll go back to that example. So what I was teaching was marketing. I wasn't teaching them rocket science. So it's the same thing that I teach my undergrad students, which is the 4P's: product, place, price, promotion. But those women are going to be using it in a different way. My students in the classroom, they're learning this because they want to get a degree They want to get a grade and they're going to go work in corporate. Those women are learning this because when I'm talking about packaging, they're not thinking about the production cost of printing the big boxes and shipping it overseas. They're thinking about that jam jar. How are they going to write on it or afford to have a sticker that's going to have what kind of jam jar it is and when's the expiry date, while still keeping it aesthetically. So it's the same concept, but because I'm so passionate about helping those women, I stopped thinking about the steps that I should follow, the props I need to have, and focus and how am I gonna upsell my next thing to them, and started focusing about their transformation. And when you do that, because you can't talk to all of your audiences at the same time. I'm a professor. I teach the MBA now. So I teach the MBA in Lebanon and in the United States. We use exactly the same book.
The same curriculum, the same
curriculum, same book, same everything. I can't use the same examples. I can't go into the classroom with the same energy. I can't, because my students are going through different things. They have different, and just like we can't sell the same product in the same way to all of the consumers around the world. Yes, we keep certain things branding, like the logo and stuff, but the approach has to be different. Speaking has to be different because you're talking to humans.
exactly. It's beyond it.
So, and when you do that, and when you stop focusing on, oh, how many sales gigs I'm gonna get today and this month, and you start focusing on how many lives I'm gonna transform, that's when you don't hit burnout. That's when
that's a good one.
You're not like keep on chasing. As a mom, I can't keep on chasing. I'm done chasing.
Yes,
So,
I know what you mean. I totally know what you mean. I love that you focused on the message could be the same, but it's the message essence is actually the same, but the vehicle that you're using will be different. The way you package the vehicle in terms of packaging that essence of the message, making it edible, to the target audience, and making sure that it's designed in such a way that it will actually not just impact them in terms of information, but impact them in terms of implementation into their life. And that's what makes. So let's start from the top. Today, if someone is not a public speaker in the common sense, so you have so many people who are business owners, founders, or they work in corporate, they have meetings, they stand in front of their colleagues and they talk in meeting rooms. It's a bit different than going a little bit broader. So if we're going to start from that space, what are the first steps that a founder, a career-oriented professional at a certain level decides that I want to go to the next level, I would like to take my ideas out there, I want to be a public speaker?
So the first step is to humble ourselves and to actually be part of those rooms before commanding to be on the stage of those rooms. So before getting on a TEDx stage, I attended 2 TED Women events before going on the first TEDx stage. So this is the first thing, because you need to know the rooms you want to be in. Because sometimes you go into rooms, you think that you want to be. So for example, I thought I wanted to be on a certain stage. And then when I went into their room a couple of months ago, I realized that's not my room. That's not the so I didn't waste the energy putting into getting on that stage.
The value did not align. Your values did not align. Okay.
Because you're not for everybody, and you cannot be everywhere. And not everyone is going to benefit from you, and you're not going to benefit from every room. So this is the first one. The second one is just connect. Start connecting. You know how they say that if you're looking for a red car and then everywhere you go, you will only see red
Red
cars?
cars, exactly. Phenomenal.
The same thing. When you start obsessing with the fact, I want to be on a stage. So I put TED on my vision board 2 years before I stood on the first TED talk, the TED stage. And then I put Forbes 1 year before I got the Forbes opportunity. So just obsess with it, visualize it, manifest it, go into the room, and so on. But when you do that, show up and connect with people and talk to people. And when I say connect and talk, it does, don't pitch yourself. Be of value. Share your story, be vulnerable, add value to them, engage with them, see how you can serve, how you can help, how you can contribute to whatever they are doing without focusing on, oh, okay, if I'm going to engage in this conversation so I can make a sale in a month.
And pitch it for them. And
Like, ditch that mindset and just focus on we're all humans, and hey, let's all support each other for once.
yes, there are some people who also suggest, I kind of understand the background behind such a kind of a suggestion. Sometimes you need to do baby steps. So you might not be a keynote speaker,
Yeah.
but you can start with, for example, using the social media, or you can start with becoming on a panel, or being the MC in the panel, or and then you go baby steps. How
So
do the baby steps work, and if you think that social media is a good tool or not?
okay, so first of all, to get to those baby steps, to get to the panel, and panel is a big thing.
It is,
Uh,
it's true.
to get to the panel and so on, you need to get to know the people. So to know the people, you need to do both parts. And I think we've had previous conversations, both of us, on the importance of the in-person and the social. They need to go hand in hand. So the in-person, attend events, find your local networking groups. Those are the places where you're going to find the people who organize events, the people who are looking for speakers, and so on. But don't go there to pitch them. Just go there to get to know them, meet them, be of service.
Network, connect. Yeah.
So connect with them, network with them, show up, host your own thing. I remember the first event I hosted. I had my own whiteboard. My husband was carrying it, and I just rented a small space and invited. And the first event I hosted in the US for me to speak was not even marketing. It was mommy and me thing. So start your own thing. And at the same time, on social media, to be a speaker, it's not a popularity contest. You don't need to be an influencer. You don't need to be viral. You need to be of value. You need to be of service. You need to be you need to be sharing your ideas and not gatekeeping. When somebody asks you a question or sends you a DM, give them an answer. It's not just about pitching. Give them an answer, help them out. Comment heartfully on other people's posts, encourage them. That's when people start noticing you. Nobody wants to get someone. This is the biggest fear, because I host my own events as well. My biggest fear is to bring a speaker on stage who, no matter how amazing they are, and then by the end, they're going to sell like crazy.
Yes, buy my I don't know, course, buy
Like,
my I don't know what.
no, and this is something, actually, it's always happening. And a lot of coaches, and they say that this is how you do it. Perfect, great, but that's not the energy I want. Because when my community is at my events, I want them to feel that they are taken care of, not taken advantage of.
I, you know, I I'm so happy that you've mentioned It's not a popularity contest. It's not about, all the numbers and everything. It's about sharing value, being of service, and that's how you, which is like, it's a full circle thing, because when you share value and you connect with others and you be of service, people will start following you, your
Yeah,
numbers will increase, and of course, so it's like, it's something pulls the other, but it's not an end all be all. The numbers have to come first before. I am so happy that you've
yeah,
opened that part, because to build up for this, there are a lot of coaches out there who are specialized in helping people get speaking engagements. To what extent should someone who have never spoken before, do you think, do they need to do DIY it in the beginning, in terms of building that rapport, creating the content, being of value, sharing their ideas? Or do you think they will be in good hands, if I can say that, going to someone who can get them their speaking gigs?
so it depends on how much experience and confidence you have.
Okay.
So let's say this. If you're hiring somebody to land you a speaking gig, don't do it.
Okay.
Because all what they're going to do is they're going to give you a list of all of the events that are happening and spamming those events with your speaker kit. And it's like throwing spaghetti at the wall, and something is going to stick.
And you don't know what's going to stick.
Exactly. And you don't know what's going to stick, and you don't want that. Like, I had a client who wanted to go all big on podcasts, and she just hired a VA who just sent her speaker kit to every single podcast on this planet. And she ended up on podcasts that did not align in any way or form. And the damage control after that was even worse.
Of course.
But so that's for this. So to land the speaking engagement, you need to do the actual work. You need to do the connection. You need to show up. You need to be in the rooms, and you need to build that kind of relationships so you can get the real speaking engagements that will keep on recurring. But if we're talking about getting the help to know what you want to talk about, getting help in preparing yourself, like practicing and so on, yes, a lot of people do need the help with that, and how to present your message in the right way.
And to control your nerves. I mean, public speaking is one of the scariest things.
Yes. But again, because I also teach communication skills. So for the MBA graduates. So I can teach them how to move their hands and how to move their body, and when to lower their voice and when to increase their tone of voice, and all of that. But if they're not confident about what they're saying, there's nothing I can do. And if they're not passionate about it, there's nothing I can do. So before you even get to hire a coach or start pitching and so on, figure out what it is that you love talking about and you have the knowledge about it. And then let's look into, okay, who needs to hear this, how you can help them, and so on.
Does pitching yourself have to include like a speaker reel, or, that media kit that you need as a speaker? Okay. So yeah, not only you need to do the homework, but you also need to have the material to present yourself. And
you need to have the speaker kit. So it depends on the event you're applying to and how big it is. Some of them, they request that you do, for example, that you show them how much engagement you have on your social media. And for me, to be very honest, with all due respect, I don't like to apply to events where all what they care about is how much engagement I'm going to bring them.
Quid per quo, like, we're going to give you the stage, you give us the visibility.
Exactly. Um, I want those who are focused more on the topics and whether or not I can create a transformation for their audience. But everybody is interested in seeing a video of how you speak, and that video doesn't need to be on social media actually. So some of them, they would ask you for the specific topic that they have, they ask you to record a video of 5 minutes. Others, they would ask that if you have a video on YouTube that you would share. So for example, I have a video on YouTube that's private that I would share sometimes. Now that with the TEDx, I share my TEDx, but still some, they ask for a specific video just for their event.
Yes,
Like
and just for the topic that you're choosing.
snippet of what it is. But definitely everybody needs a speaker kit, and the speaker kit has to have your image, a photo of you, your bio, the topics that you would talk about, if you've spoken on stages before, and stuff like that.
And stuff like that. So if everything goes well and you feel that you've taken all of that confidence, and I think showing up on social media because it's an owned platform, it's yours, will give that confidence, because repetition gives confidence. You know, you kind of ace the topic. How do you know your topic is a nice topic? Even if you're passionate about it, maybe it's not the right topic, you know?
So every single story has an audience, and your story is not yours. So your story is someone else's kind of guide or transformational guide. The thing is, you need to be, because even if I'm talking about marketing, if I don't put it in a story, I'm not going to be able to create a transformation. Like now we're talking about public speaking, which is a very kind of rough topic. Yeah. But because we talked about it in a story, it became a guide. So if we're talking now just to, let's say, a group of high school graduates, the story we would use is different than the story we would use if we're giving this as a talk, and if we're sitting in a panel in front of executives. So your story is always going to be enough. And actually, that's the statement from my last TED talk.
Oh my God.
Your story is enough. Your story is always enough. It's just you need to understand your audience so you can shape it where they would transform through it. So go to the room, understand the room before you give the speech, before you pitch. It doesn't make sense that you pitch to people you don't know. Like I can't come on your podcast if I don't know who's your audience. Because then what if your audience, let's say that your audience is, I don't know,
people outside the business or the marketing, or
exactly, stay-at-home moms who want to learn how to be more confident talking publicly. They can still learn a lot from our conversation together, but the way we put it together, the examples that we use would be different.
Absolutely.
And then I just add something to go back one step. When you asked on what would help them, like, is it the coaches? Honestly, the number one coach is yourself.
And I love that. Tell me more.
And this is something I've used with my clients, and I've used over and over and over with my students. Record yourself every single time you're rehearsing. Like, put a camera and record yourself. You are the most critic of yourself. Like, you're never gonna find someone who's gonna criticize you more than you criticize yourself.
Yeah, sadly, but true.
Exactly. So let's use it for our advantage. So record yourself. Notice how your hands are doing. Notice how your tone of voice. Are you speaking slow? Are you speaking loud? Are you speaking too fast? Are you jittery? Are you moving back and forth? How is it? And when you do that, get dressed. I always practice every single time. I've been public speaking for almost 20 years, 15 years. And every single time I practice with my camera and I practice with my whole outfit, the accessories, the shoes, and everything. Because when you go there on stage, even if it's a small room, people are going to be unpredictable, right? The people are
Right.
going to be unpredictable. The room might have changed. The decor, it might be the first time you actually walk into that room and so on. But you want the clothes on you, the ring, the everything to be already
Familiar.
you've it's not just familiar, you know it. It's part of you. So when the words are coming out, it's not like you're trying to find the words like I'm doing right now. It's just part of who you are. It's just like coming out, and you're focusing more on the engagement and on the energy more than on, oh, is my jacket right? Oh, this ring is hurting. My shoes are too tight, and so on. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
love that. I love that. And to go back to the to your initial point when you're saying the audience is also important, even if the message, it's this is the importance of context. Like I remember, when I was still in corporate, I used to tell my, the interns or people on my team who were the young executives on the team, when we were presenting something, I'm like, this is your part. You need to present this. I would tell them like, you need to give context, so if you're the person who's going to present the numbers for this project, give them a context. And the context, when you do it, you can say it as a story. So, and the story is about the event or the activation that we did, and you're talking about data, and it's so, numbers could be so boring to to present. But I would say,
Overwhelming.
yeah, I was like, so if you want people to not look at their phones or type something on their laptop, and you want, the especially senior executive to see that you were an active part of the team on this campaign, start with giving them context. Start with, and you will ease up, your nerves will ease up, because then you'll be telling them what you were doing and how did we reach. By the time you get to the numbers, they're on board. So I'm so with you on the context and understanding your speaker very much. Yeah, I want to ask you, because you are a person who is on, you come from the background of brand and marketing. What are the key elements when you are presenting, like when you're building up that deck or the speech that you want to put out there? What are the key elements to make your presentation memorable or impactful? What are the key elements other than storytelling? Because you are very clear, storytelling is a.
So it's not about being flashy.
Okay.
Okay, the flashy stuff works, but it's for some people. Again, it goes back depending on your audience. Like I remember last year we were at an event and the speaker just had this money gun, started throwing at us money, and it was a huge turnoff for all of the women in the room. Depending on your audience, but having props always helps.
Okay, that's a good tip.
So having props help, having visuals, and be as dramatic as possible with visuals. So having the PowerPoint where it's all like bullet points, this doesn't work because people don't remember bullet points, but they would remember an image. So I remember like in one of my presentations, and now I use it all the time. I have an image um, of a war-torn building in Beirut.
Mm.
And that image, the minute it goes on, it gets everybody's attention. because it's dramatic. And don't put too much images of yourself because it's not about you. So be dramatic with the visuals, have props with you, try to move as much as you can.
Okay.
Engage with questions for them. So ask them questions that would take them some time to reflect on. And the best, and like, I never do a workshop, a presentation, something, except for the TED because we're not allowed, without having workbooks.
For them to participate, for your audience to participate. Okay.
Yes. Because then, and don't give them the notebooks where it's just lined. Just put in the effort. Show them that you've put in the effort. With ChatGPT, like, you can create a workbook. Like, put your presentation in ChatGPT. It's gonna give you a beautiful workbook within minutes, so that they would follow with you. So you're not just standing there. Let's say your presentation or your workshop is for 2 hours or an hour. So you're not just talking for an hour. Let them. It's all about them. It's not about you. So let them go back and work. So if I'm talking about branding, for example, instead of me showing them examples of, oh, these are the projects I worked on, or, oh, these are the different rules you should follow when you're doing branding, I would be saying, this is what we did. I use storytelling. And then I'm like, how would you apply this to your brand? And they would have a space, they would answer, and then we would engage. So if you want to say 70% I'm talking and the other 30%, let them talk to each other and to me, because that's how you have transformation is going to happen.
Exactly. So this is amazing, because these are speaking like tips, especially if you are a person. I mean, if you are in corporate, this is going to help you so much. It's going to add so much value to your personal brand, especially with the senior leadership. It will show not only that you're focused on the result of a project or the status, but also on the attention to the details. So I completely love that. But also, if you are a coach or a consultant or a trainer or anything like that, you are showcasing to your client or to your audience how it is all about them, and how involving them is part of the process of getting all of that information. I love that. I love that you've mentioned these. Do you think, or from your experience as a speaker in different forums, that these kind of details, the homework that you do, the work that you do when you are on that stage, when you are in that conference room, is all part of the skills that will make you a better speaker? Or do you think that this is just overrated, these are just
No.
fluff?
No, this is what's going to separate you from everybody else. This is what's going to make you create your personal brand. Your personal brand is what people are going to, is not your logo, and it's not how many followers you have. It's what people are going to feel when they are in your presence, and what they're going to say about you when you're not in the room. That's the textbook definition of personal branding. So what I want is, I want people to feel that they're being served when I'm in the room. And I want them to say about me when I'm not there, that I gave them value. And no one is going to receive value if I just go on stage and just talk about my story, no matter how amazing my story is going to be. If I don't help them reflect on theirs, and if you don't help them bring that transformation, because the problem with, and we know that in coaching and so on, people buy courses. I bought so many courses.
Yeah, we all do. It's part of growth.
Maybe I applied 1%, or maybe I started it and I never even continued it. Why? Because that part was missing, the hand holding of, okay, you can apply this to your brand, to your life, to your story. So when you give them that booklet, when you ask them those questions, when you give them the time to actually, sometimes you don't need, if let's say you don't have the capacity to print or something, all what you have to do is do the round tables. Tell them, ask them
If
a
it's within the
question,
context,
ask a question and say, okay, discuss this among each other. Every round table has 6 to 8 people on it. Just giving them that space to think, to reflect, to talk, that's where the transformation is going to happen.
absolutely. So we've just established the importance of public speaking when it comes to also building your brand. It's part of one of the pillars that you can use. It's another tool in the toolbox. Does it make money? Does it make money? Does it impact the business owner directly or indirectly when it comes to, and the bottom line?
100%. So it makes money when you start getting on big stages that actually pay you a lot of money to speak on.
Okay.
But it does make, for me, for example, at this stage, yes, it makes money by, one, presenting an authority, and two, it gives people that confidence in you, because now they can experience my skills and service before hiring me, because now they can go on YouTube, listen to my talks. Just like social media, when you give a freebie or you go lives and you're sharing the tips, going live is public speaking.
Absolutely. It's the greatest place to practice. Yeah.
Yeah. And a podcast is public speaking. It's just a different platform. So all of these are ways that people can actually experience you, gain value from you before they invest in your business. So yes, it is a way, and if it's done properly in creating the funnel and generating leads and so on, it is one of the best ways so that you can like improve the business and grow the business.
Oh my God. So Rana, today you've done, I mean, as it's been years that you've been public speaking on different platforms. Do you feel like there is either a stage you are not on yet, or you want to, or is there a topic that you wish that you could do speak about, or it should be addressed, that you want to?
So my vision board, I actually, so you know that I do vision board events.
I love them, by the way. I absolutely love your vision board.
Coming to Arizona, we sell out like within 2 weeks, 3 weeks from posting it, but I haven't done mine yet. So I was waiting for this moment to be done with my fourth TEDx to see what's next. So I'm putting it out there. You're going to be the first one to hear this. My new manifestation dream / goal, because I believe like if it's something you want to manifest or dream, you have to be working towards it. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. I want to get on big stages in the MENA region, because I miss going back and talking back to the women in the Arab region. When I spoke in Riyadh and when I spoke in Qatar, when I hosted my own event through the Global Businesswomen in Qatar, it was so fulfilling. So I want to go back to there, but at a bigger scale. But the stage I want to be on is I want to be on stage next to Russell Brunson, honestly. I don't know when this is going to happen or how, but I'm putting it out in the universe. And I want to have my podcast, because you inspired me so much.
God.
To have my podcast.
I'm your biggest fan and supporter.
I know you're helping me, by the way. I just hired Rana. She's going to be my personal branding coach to build my, I want to grow the podcast. And I'm also putting it out in the world that I want my podcast to be managed by Hala Taha.
That would be brilliant. I love Hala. Oh.
Yeah, I want to play with the big people now.
Yeah, 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 of course. You know, I'm gonna poke a little bit about a shared vision, which is going back to the MENA region, being there as not just as women, but as Arab women from the diaspora, and going back and speaking specifically. Where do you where do you feel that when it comes to especially speaking, where do you feel the women in the Middle East need to work on when it comes to public speaking for them as executives? And because there's so much talent out there, but we don't have the same number of women speakers in the Middle East versus men speakers in the Middle East.
I don't know why.
What do you think is the biggest thing, you know?
Um,
We don't practice questions, by the way, guys. This is
yeah,
like, this is off the cuff because you just told me what you're
so
manifesting.
emotional now. The thing is about the Arab women is I've never in my life met women as strong as the Arab women.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
And I think all what we need is stages. That's it. They don't need, the Arab women are multi passionate, multi, they're capable to speak about so many different things.
Absolutely.
And they have the talent and move the talent. There is talent everywhere around the world. But the Arab women have knowledge.
Yeah.
And I think that the Arab culture, and I'm saying this as a university professor. I'm not saying this as a business consultant or coach or anything like that. As a university professor, our culture, it's not an option not to go to college.
Yeah. We're very highly educated. Yes.
So the Arab women are extremely educated. And you have to remember, a lot of those women are extremely educated in spite of the culture that some of them live in that refuses their education. So that shows you how determined they are and how much more they've absorbed their education and they're proud of their education. But what they're missing is the stages. And I teared up because it was interesting as I was preparing for the last talk. So in the last talk, I said a statement about I was very vulnerable, and it was about the ripple effects, and it was about how I was faking it for so long, and I lived
Yes.
fake it till you make it, and how the day I graduated my doctorate, and I graduated from one of the top business schools in Europe, that was the day I felt like a fraud. I should have been like so proud, but I felt like a fraud because I was so worried somebody would look at my research and would say, and my research was both qualitative and quantitative, and I graduated with no need to make any changes, which doesn't happen often. And I was so worried all the time that somebody would look at my research and think she's not good enough.
Oh my God.
And my wake-up call was one of my students. So at that time, I just had graduated. And after I graduated, I started working with the Lebanese University. And a couple of years later, I was teaching the pharmaceutical MBA program. And it's the only program in the MENA region. And one of my students, listen to this, Rana.
Oh my God.
Pharmacist.
Goosebumps everywhere.
She's a pharmacist. She has a PharmD. She has a master's in clinical pharmacy. She's doing a pharmaceutical MBA. and she still thinks that she's not enough.
Oh my God. Yeah,
And she
that's
doesn't have
enoughness. Yeah.
the education. And that's when it hit me. When we keep on, that's what imposter syndrome does. It keeps on telling you that no matter how much you achieve, you're not good enough. And unfortunately, this is all what the Arab women are struggling with. They just need somebody to tell them, you're good enough. Just what you have is more than enough. Share it. This is all what they need.
Oh my God, Yani. Oh, this is such an heartfelt thing. Uh you're making me speechless. Like I don't even know where to go from this, but I totally agree with you. I mean, it's, for the longest time we've played by someone else's rules, and it's like about being in rooms where yeah, if you're in it, being the only female in sitting, having a chair on that table and all of that. But I am so optimistic, and I'm so happy, and I'm so elated that so much progress have come, and there's beautiful light at the proverbial tunnel. We're out of it now. Some countries are better than others, cultural nuances, absolutely. But I'm gonna join you in saying, let's manifest, guys. Other than Dr. Rana, maybe the next event will be, let's say, Riyadh.
Riyadh.
Riyadh, we're coming, and I'm gonna be there with her, because why not? And I'm sure this is a call out to the amazing women that I've worked with, or who listen to this, or the amazing men who support a lot of female-owned businesses and stuff like that. Let's make Riyadh happen. Let's get it going. So I'm so excited about this.
I'm so excited. I didn't know we were gonna announce it. Thank
Um,
you for announcing
I
it.
think we should. I think we should. And it's part of the manifestation. At the end of the day, it's like we're working on it, but I think Riyadh, we
Riyadh
should
is
we
going
should
to
be
be.
there soon, and we can't wait to partner and to be with amazing women from Saudi Arabia, from different countries in the GCC, different countries in the Levant and North Africa. I mean, there's so many amazing women out there, and I can't wait for a space that we can call like a mastermind, where it's like you're
Yes.
pollinating ideas, and
I
I'm
just want
just putting it out there.
to, I just honestly, all what I want is I just want to meet them all, because as much as I'm grateful and I love being here, and the community that I've built here in Scottsdale and in North America, and so on. But when I was in Forbes Riyadh and when I was in Qatar, it feels different.
Yes, it does.
Because because the resilience in those women makes you so proud. Because every single woman, because we have to remember, all of us, like me, to be able to go to college, you, Rena, to be able to go to to be able to actually be speaking on a podcast. So many other women
Yeah.
have done so much, so we got here, and I just want to keep us pushing forward.
Absolutely,
And I
absolutely.
think
And every single one in whatever stage inspires me, and teaches me a lesson and everything. So, oh my God, if there is any opportunity to give back, to learn, to exchange, on board 100%.
yeah,
Um, So, my last question for you was what are your next things? I think that's that's the one that you kind of shared with us, and I think that's like one of the most inspiring next step in terms of not just speaking, we're talking about public speaking, but also in terms of purpose, and in terms of doing something that has a purpose that is very dear to your heart, and to what you believe in. So I just want to put that out there. um Before I go, Rana, the tips that you gave us were phenomenal, because it kind of breaks the bubble on a lot of things that you might read out there. Just do this, and this will get you speaking gigs, or hire XYZ and it will get you the speaking gigs. um if someone wants to DIY it, you've given us a lot of tips. Is there any other resource that you believe that people should get their hands on? It could be books, it could be a website, it could be organization, but it doesn't have to be specific. You might think, no, let people read more about this or that. Do you think there are resources that people should always read and or learn from, or things like that?
I honestly believe, I'm a big believer that you need to follow yourself. So, what you need to keep on learning is your industry. Whatever your industry is, just keep on learning and growing in your industry. Have all of the knowledge, because when you have all of that knowledge and you go on stage, on a podcast, live, whatever, you're confident. But if I tell you go follow XYZ on, like, for example, when somebody gives you a sales pitch and you're just reading it step by step as it is, you're a robot.
Yeah,
And people don't want to connect with robot, because we have to remember that information, whatever information you're sharing, people are able to Google it. And ChatGPT and AI, and now Google AI is even way more advanced than ChatGPT and so on.
absolutely.
They're able to get it. People are in that room or are listening to the podcast because they want you. They want your perspective. They want your style of saying it. They want your story because there's something in your story that they resonated with. So the only source you need to focus on is strengthen your knowledge in your industry and become the best in what you offer. So, for example, if you are a sleep coach for babies, for example, just every single study that comes out related to babies, to moms, to postpartum, to all of that, know about it. If you're a financial advisor, just be on top of all of the information and add to it whatever would supplement. So study about stress management, so broaden your perspective rather than go get a book about public speaking and read it, because nobody wants another robot. People want you. If you have a tick, if you stutter, people want you.
Exactly, exactly. And I love that. And being a and subject matter expert, it's not the years of experience, it's the depth of the experience. So all of you young people out there, don't think that you need to be, there's a certain number that you need to reach in terms of age or years, but it's the depth. If you've done it for a good number of times, if it has given you results, if it gives results to the people that you're servicing, you're becoming that. And by the way, this will also give you the confidence that is lacking. We spoke about this in the beginning. You're going to create, content that will resonate because you're good at it. You're good at the subject. It will give you that confidence. I am so grateful for your time, Rana, and I am so elated and so excited about your vision for the next big thing. I am
We're doing
behind you
it.
with the same footsteps, and I'm also I just want to congratulate you on this amazing thing that you started with, the TEDx that you've done, putting you in the 1% category of TEDx speakers. Yani, congratulations.
Thank you.
Amazing work. I am not surprised, but I'm really, really, really happy for you. And I know that your work is transforming lives. So I want to thank you so much for your time. And thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for sharing candidly everything about public speaking, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Thank you so
I'm
much.
so honored to be on your podcast. Truly,
Thank,
truly, you're such an inspiration.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if you've sensed some heightened emotions in my conversation with Rana. I really had very special emotions. She is someone who is a person that I highly admire, especially in her work and her dedication, not only to business owners, but specifically to women entrepreneurs. So I do hope that you check out Rana's socials and website. As always, all the links will be listed in the show notes. Thank you once again for joining me this week. I am truly grateful for you to give me your time. If the conversation in this episode had landed with you, please share it with a friend who will benefit from this episode topic. Don't forget to like and subscribe the podcast. Our growth depends on you. So please do follow the show and share a review. As always, have a wonderful week and keep making waves.